Aloha, Helena Das here, and I am out here astride my beloved indigo, and I'd love to share a secret with you today, if I may. Would you like to know a secret? Can I share a secret? I want to tell you that just not even half an hour ago, I was terrified. I was experiencing a lot of fear and anxiety, and it happened when I, got on Indigo. And I actually had to get off of him to sort of process and work with it. And that is the reason that I was inspired to make this video for you today, because I am going to reveal, in case you might at times experience fear or anxiety. And by the way, right now, if you're sensitive or conscious at all with all of the changes going on in the planet, all of the dismantling of structures and systems, and just, so much chaos going on, it is absolutely normal to be either experiencing a certain level of fear or anxiety yourself, just based on the collective, never mind if you've got your own shiz going on. But it is, and or if you're not, to know someone who is. So I appreciate you sharing your love if that's the case. But anyway, what I wanted to share with you is that like I said, I have sort of cultivated or identified 4 steps to what I'm going to call my fear alchemy process. And I do want to give some credit, the sort of the outlying structure, if you will. I want to credit Pirelli, who's a natural horsemanship trainer. If you happen to be in the horse world, you may have heard of him. And there's something that they teach called approach and retreat. And so in the big picture, if you will, that is exactly what I did. I got on Indigo, and I do have a check, body scan practice that I do even before I get on him, and certain things that I do with him before we, before we ride. And so all those checks were, boxes were checked, and feeling good. But when I got on him, I started to feel that knot in my solar plexus, that kind of like burning fire sensation. And for me, I typically feel, everyone's different, but I typically feel my, my fear and my anxiety in the solar plexus area. Now, I will say that because I, do this work a lot and have cultivated my, mind-body connection, if you will, I knew very quickly kind of what it's about. And it's not necessarily around riding Indigo. There are times it may be if he's acting funny, but he is also a huge reflector, if you will, and horses can be that way, the way they process and share energy. For us, they can be loving mirrors, if you will, and Indy, more so than any other horse I've ever had or ridden, really, if I've got something going on, he's gonna help me bring it up. So anyway, so I got on him and started to feel that, and so I immediately got off and started, breathing and doing my practice, and here we are. But let me break it down for you. So this 4-step process, this is within the 2-step approach and retreat, right? So I might, today I only needed to do it once. There are other days I might get on and get off and get on and get off, etc., to approach and retreat, this sort of 2-step dance, until I am at a place that feels safe, which is really important when you're not only dealing with a horse, but if you've had trauma like I have, and even on top of past sexual and other trauma, I've taken in my younger years multiple falls off of horses. So I do have some cellular memory trauma around being physically hurt on horses, and so That's an important thing I feel to mention. So anyway, that being said, that big picture is the approach and retreat, and that's an example of how you would handle that. But to take things a little bit deeper, what I want to share with you is, like I said, the deeper process of alchemizing the fear. And so I love acronyms. So the first step would be to feel the fear. So that's the F. The second is to embrace the fear. So, don't sweep it under the rug. Like, really allow yourself to feel it and embrace it and acknowledge it. So those are the first three: feel, embrace, and acknowledge. And they don't have to be in that order, but within that process, when I'm acknowledging it, I am typically connecting, placing a hand or two over the area. So for me today, it was my solar plexus, and breathing into that area and then sending it love, acknowledging it, maybe having a conversation with it, and just really being with it, befriending it, if you will. And within, in under 5-10 minutes max, it had dissipated and I was able to get back on. And then, he was back to his normal self, which, again, is a surefire reflection of the work that I just did on me. And this is one of the magical gifts from Horse. And so, I forgot the fourth step. And so that fourth step is sort of like a bonus step, the R, and that is to reframe or rebirth that energy, to empower yourself, choose to use and harness that energy that you just transmuted with your breath, with your love, with your acknowledgement, and really rebirth it into something else. Maybe reframe how you're looking at it, and or allow yourself to rebirth that energy into again, something that's going to empower you in whatever way that works for you. So for me, obviously, I was able to reframe it, and I knew that it had nothing to do with indigo. He was just reflecting that, and I was able to, use the energy to get out here and ride. And now actually gave me the inspiration to, once again, I don't always plan these videos, but to share this message with you. And so that's how I've rebirthed it, or repurposed it, if you will, in a way that is hopefully of service to you. So I wanted to take a moment, and I hope that was helpful. The quick recap: fear, feel, embrace, acknowledge, and reframe or rebirth the energy, because we know that emotions, whether it's fear or anything else, are just energy in motion. And so if you like this video, I am not only going to invite you to give it a thumbs up, to share the love, to subscribe if you feel called, but I also want to take a moment, if I may, and share with you a very exciting, limited, time-sensitive opportunity to actually work with me and Indigo and or another horse. And there's even a beach option, which I won't go into all the details, don't want to give it all away. Let's get this hair out of my face. And anyway, if you're interested in doing some work with us, where I am partnering with Horse to empower you to maybe work through some fears, some shiz, or whatever it is. I also have an amazing 5-step process that helps you learn how to be in the present moment. And that's where all our power lies, of course, right? When we get still and be present, that's when the wisdom can come through. That's when the voice of Source or the divine can speak, right? Or we can hear it. They're speaking all the time. Anyway, so what I'm excited to share with you is that if you are at all interested in exploring the possibility of working with us live, again, either on our farm, and there is a beach, Ormond Beach possibility option, which we can talk about, to do some deep restorative healing, some really, profound shifts and transformation, which I can't even put into words, the magic that happens when we just hang out with horse. And I want you to know all the work that I do is on the ground, so you don't have to have any riding experience, and it also allows us to be more present, right, and connect with our body and our energies and anything else that's up. So, you know, if that's a concern, just want you to know that it's all done on the ground. In our alchemy arena, which you may or may not have heard me talk about. So again, if this resonates, I invite you to message me, to email me, reach out, because there are, as I said, limited spots. And, you know, things are already starting. I mean, I'm sweating. Things are already starting to warm up, and it's middle of January, right? So depending on how you are with heat and bugs and humidity, right now, this, you know, next month here is really the most perfect and ideal time weather-wise in my books to be doing this work and being outside and, you know, hanging out and playing with horse, and, you know, allowing the alchemy to happen. So if that resonates, again, I invite you to reach out. I've really excited to be taking this work even deeper. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And until next time, I am going to invite you to befriend and alchemize your fear if it comes up for you, and refer to this process. And I love you. Until next time, namaste. Oops.